Alright, Schlockmeister fans, another re-review from my previous channel. It's Deathbed, the bed that eats. Let's check it out. Oh, he starts with some crunching.
I've been imprisoned behind my painting in this limbo for 60 years now since my death. I think half that time I've spent in listening to that monster snore.
What monster is he talking about? Well, he's talking about a bed, which is in the cellar of this old house. And here's a couple who have come to this old house to have some fun time on the bed. Well, they've come to have a picnic on the bed, and while they're making out, keep your eye on the apple. The bed seems to be engulfing the apple. This is no ordinary bed. It also takes their KFC and their wine. Well, they start to get hot and heavy in that bed, and then presumably the bed swallowed them too. You then see a bunch of newspaper headlines from over the years. Thousands disappear. Strange munching sounds heard in the night. The mayor's gonna get something done. Oh, I guess not. Well, some time has passed, and I guess we got two new visitors to the house.
You gaze at me as a painting on the wall, and I see you as a serving upon some monstrous silver platter.
Our dead painter, hidden behind the wall, narrates for us. This woman's on the bed, and I think she's being choked by her necklace. Or it's pulling her down into the bed. Yep, she gets sucked down, and that's the end of her. We see like a history of the bed and its past victims. I guess this is a priest. You know he's a priest because he's reading the Holy Bible. It takes priests too. I don't know who this old lady is, but she has an interesting choice of reading. Oral lesbians. Those are my favorite kind of lesbians. Apparently the bed was home to an orgy once.
Merry melting motion.
What do we have to do tomorrow?
I read the bell for a religious revival. We've been invited. Would you like to go?
They all got sucked into the bed as well. Some gangsters once used the house as a hideout.
Surrounded by my paintings, I decided to draw my deathbed. He decided to create a bed.
We get a little backstory. There was a demon tree
He called her, knowing she had to come.
that became a demon wind,
He took a human form, except for his eyes.
and then he fell in love with a woman.
His eyes are always filled with blood. He fled, seeking shelter in a
Somehow the woman died.
and has stayed there to this day. The blood left behind took root into the bed, and from this root a life sprang, and with this life, a hunger.
And I guess this demon possesses his bed ever since.
Only once in every 10 years.
A few new people show up to our house. This house needs a lot of action. This black woman gets sucked in. But she's a fighter. She's not giving up without a fight. She manages to free herself from the bed, but she has some bloody pants. Just when you think she's about to escape, the bed lassos her with the bed sheets and pulls her back. Her friend even tries to save her. That's one tough-ass bed. So Sharon, the friend, stayed behind, pondering at it, I guess, while her friend's eyeball floats in the bed. Then I think this is her brother that shows up. And that's the eyeball again. Big brother decides he's going to kill the bed with a knife. That was dumb. Now his hands are stuck inside of it. He loses the knife, and he loses his hands. Well, most of it anyway. That's absurd.
Left.
Now what's he gonna do?
There's hardly any blood. It's almost like a surgical operation.
With remarkably little pain. He decides he needs Sharon to just break him off at this point. Well, she learns like a ritual that she can do to finally rid the world of this bed. She creates a circle in blood. She uses her brother's hand bones.
Take a strand of your friends here. These will join the circles. The bed will be forced from one circle to another.
She has to get naked for some reason, but that starts the bed on fire. It also engulfs the narrator, painter, ghost.
Taking me with you into death is not your revenge, it's my release.
And that's our film. All right, let's talk about Deathbed, the bed that eats. Apparently, a lot of people are aware of this movie because Patton Oswalt did a comedy routine about this movie, which I haven't seen, and I wasn't aware of this until recently, actually. Actually, I think when I reviewed this movie back in 2016 on my previous channel. I became aware of this movie in 2003 or 4 when it first came out on DVD. I happened to be in Best Buy, and I stumbled into my Schlockmeister brother Jeff, who was there, and we started looking at the DVDs together, and we came across this one. And he's like, "Oh, dude, you should buy this. You should buy this." I'm like, "I don't know what this is. I mean, yeah, it looks interesting, but I'm not interested in buying it." It's like $20. I'd never heard of it, but whatever. Then he said, then finally he just kept pressuring me to buy it. So I'm like, "Okay, fine. Will you watch it with me?" He's like, "Yeah." And then I said, "Okay, let's watch it tonight." So we planned for him to come over that night. We're going to watch Deathbed, and he never came. And then we planned for like a long time after that for him to come over, and we were going to watch Deathbed together. And literally years went by, and it never happened. And to this date, it's never happened. We've never watched Deathbed together. I watched it once before in 2016, and I watched it again today. He has, however, come over to watch other movies with me, but we've never watched Deathbed. But anyway, Deathbed, strange little movie. It's there's this house, and it's kind of like an old, I don't want to say dilapidated mansion, but it's seen better days. And there's a bed inside this house. Now, when people come to visit and they hang out in this bed, which is apparently in the cellar, whether they're there to have sex, sleep on it, or have a picnic, the bed swallows people up. It basically devours them, and it eats them. That's what this bed does. Strange thing about this movie, there's also a guy in this movie who's in the same room as in the same bedroom as this bed. He's hiding behind a painting. I don't know if hiding is that. He's more like in prison there. I guess he's the artist who created that painting. He's been banished to this place, and he's been there for like 100 years or some shit. I don't know, is he a ghost or exactly what, but he kind of narrates this thing too, and he warns people about the bed, or he warns the audience what's going to happen next with this bed. They don't know he's in there, but anyway, people come, they have a picnic on the bed, they do whatever on the bed, and they get eaten. And then we see like a backstory at one point how the bed came to be. Apparently there was a demon wind, like this wind. Actually, no, it was a demon tree. And the demon tree decided to become a demon wind and was blowing through the hair of this young, beautiful maiden. And he fell in love with her. Then he took human form, and then she died or something. And one of their bloods got on this. And that's how, like, the demon now possesses this bed forever. And that's it. So anyway, it just picks off several people in this movie. One woman manages to escape briefly, and she's like all bloody and stuff on her legs. But at the end of this movie, this one guy, and I think it's his sister there, he like gets his hand in the bed and he pulls him out, and the next thing his hands are just skeletons. And then his sister breaks off his fingers and stuff, and they fall to the ground. But then she learns that she has to like make some sort of circle with the bones or something, and somehow drive the demon out or whatever the hell is. Next thing you know, the bed's on fire, and that's pretty much how our movie ends. I guess the evil was vanquished. I don't know. Strange film. Apparently the guy who directed this film, what the hell was his name? I don't even know. Is it on here? But director, it just says the director. But he made this movie starting in 1972. It took him 5 years to make it. He kind of just filmed it off and on around the Detroit area. Was never able to sell the movie, but he'd provided a copy to some place in Europe somewhere, and apparently the guy made a master copy of it, and years later it started to get bootlegged around, and the director discovered that because he was on some message board on AOL or something back in the early 2000s, and people were talking about this movie Deathbed. Have you seen it? So he was surprised there was any interest, so he unearthed it himself and managed to get a nice DVD release for it. The film looks pretty darn good, and since then it's also been released on Blu-ray as well, so I'm sure this is a lot better than those bootlegs that were floating around. But yeah, that's how it came to be. So anyway, that is Deathbed. Strange little film. I'll have to check out Patton Oswalt's comedy routine, because it's probably pretty good. Check it out, leave some comments, let me know what you think about Deathbed, and in fact click that link and buy the Blu-ray for yourself. It's interesting, and it's got a little nudity, little gore, and it's a fun little relic. Check it out, leave some comments. Deathbed, the bed that eats. Watch it. Bye.